Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy, Pod Job, standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer, standing by.
This is Lexi, Padawan, standing by. Switching it up.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars in movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from a galaxy far, far away. Tonight's flight plan includes a little bit of Star Wars news, but mostly we're going to jump back into Skeleton Crew episode 3 as we continue to catch up on episodes from that series. For all of you out there, all comm channels are open. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram. Find us on Twitch and YouTube. Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I'll be your squad leader for today. I'm Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate. I am a director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing is Tracy.
My name is Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl, and Andy, you say it exactly every single time. I don't think I've ever said what is on the stage.
Make it up.
Yeah, I'm a social media poster sometimes, and a convention goer sometimes post-COVID, and just all around awesome person.
Yay. And on my other wing is Lexi.
I go by Feral Geek on Instagram and Facebook. Occasionally I post. It's a real treat when I do, I think. I'm an event coordinator for the most part. I love designing cosplays I cannot afford to make, and hopefully I'll be able to get another job and I'll be able to make some of those cosplays.
And of course, we are just one squad in the fleet. We are part of the Geekish Network. That's right here on YouTube, also on Facebook and Twitch. Subscribe to everything, all the things, and see all the great shows that are on the network. S foils to attack position. We are going in. So we're back again. First little bit of tidbit here. So there's news, and I say this like I tread carefully now, right? Because every time they announce a movie, I feel like in a couple of
Boulder of salt right there.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones size boulder of salt.
Crate salt. Salt. Yeah, so there is new information about the Rey film that Daisy Ridley has been confirmed that she is willing to be involved in, but they have now assigned a new writer, George Nolfi, who is working on the script for Charmin Obed Chinoy. So they are calling it the New Jedi Order, or that's kind of their working title, or maybe that's working title for this era. But it doesn't sound like there's been a final draft yet, but they are working on it, so they say. All I'm gonna say is I've heard this before, so I'll believe it when I see it. But no, I mean they're saying the right things, right? One of the things that Nolfi was quoted in saying was that he's really looking back at what George set out to accomplish with the original 6 films, and how he was, really just they were steeped in the politics of the time. He's looking at parallels with the Empire and Nazism, or the Roman Empire, and the democracy of the Roman Empire collapsing and becoming an empire.
People mad, and I love it.
I mean, it could be timely. I mean, it's I'm waiting for Andor season 2 because, man, like all these Nemec quotes keep popping up right now, and I'm like, geez.
Yeah, super timely. Timely.
So what do you guys think? What are the chances of this iteration continuing forward?
I don't want to jinx it. I'm not gonna say a thing.
Fair enough.
I don't want to jinx it.
If they do it, I would really like them to see them do right by Finn.
I was about to say the same thing.
I don't know if John Boyega would be on board, but it would be enough.
If they put a lightsaber in his hand, because presumably this is however many years after, right? I mean, how many years has it been since Rise of Skywalker? Has it been?
Oh gosh. It's been like 10 years since Force Awakens came out, so it's got to be at least 5, 6
Insane, right?
years, 7 years, something like that.
Rodney says 2019. Okay, so yeah, so it's been like
6.
6 years right now. Figure that this is still in pre-production another 3 years before they have a completed edit, if they stay on track. So this will release in like 2027, 2028 maybe. So yeah, gosh, at that point, yeah, you could have an established, Jedi Finn who's helping her train a new Jedi Order.
The post Skywalker era.
Yeah. All right. And well, with that, let's move on to Skeleton Crew episode 3. So again, we are catching up on Skeleton Crew as we dive back in. This is episode 3, called Very Interesting as an Astrogation problem. Am I reading that right?
I'm looking up because I wants to know what that means.
Astrogation?
Navigation in outer space.
That's okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a word. All right. Cool. Yeah, also noting that this is where we start to notice that every title of each episode is basically just a quote from a character, which is an interesting structural thing. Great. All right. First impressions of this episode.
Well, my mom's name is Kim, so anytime there's a character named Kim, and my mom is teeny tiny, just like the little cat owl character. So
I loved Cat Owl, and she's played by Aaliyah
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development and Blink Twice.
And she's in the new season of Severance too, which if you haven't seen is so good.
I have not, so
This also has a great little cameo from Dr. Octopus himself, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Dragging a cart around.
yeah, which is great.
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina. Just kind of hearing his, I don't know. I mean, I just love Alfred Molina. He's a favorite character actor of mine.
Yeah.
He's like in that realm with like John Rhys. Well, okay. I mean, that's all Indiana Jones actors, I guess. But but like John Rhys Davies, him.
That's right. He was in Indiana Jones, wasn't he?
Yeah. He opened at that film. He has like all of Act 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, an actor, another non-ethnic actor playing an ethnic character.
Well, he's ethnic, just the wrong kind of ethnic.
That's how I was playing Moana back when I did Disney princess stuff. I was like, I'm brown, I'm not the right brand, but it's supposed to somehow white.
It'll be fine.
It's like I'm not doing, I mean, I don't have to put on different makeup to match the skin tone, so that was, so I was like, so that was what we decided was clear, where we're like, well, and then but when I moved, I was so happy because I was talking to my friend who runs that company, and she was like, oh, Nahia's playing her now. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, because Nahia's Pacific Islander.
Right. It is interesting. Then this is going a little bit off on a tangent a little bit. But, there are a lot of really great stories about, when I was working at East West Players, a lot of the lore of the early days was Mako, who was the founding artistic director. They were very big on their training program. And one of the big things was, okay, we're going to have this Japanese person teach everyone a little bit of fan dance, and then everyone's going to work on their Cantonese accent as well as their Filipino accent, and you're going to learn a little bit of martial arts and those different things. Because the reality was, of course, at that time, none of the producers or directors really knew the difference. And so it was really on the actors to be sensitive and so it was kind of thing amongst the Asian American talent pool in LA that was East West Players. It was on them to go, okay, I know I'm Filipino. I'm going to end up playing Chinese or Japanese at some point. So it's on me to get the accent right, to, or at least have the resources to be respectful. I always just thought that was kind of neat and just kind of interesting. The kind of, honor among thieves
Yeah.
of it all.
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, I hear that. I listened to a ton of different Polynesian language things so that I wasn't saying Maui really white. You know, it's Maui, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I hear that. I hear that, and that's like a way more involved. That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Actually,
It could easily play like Jewish or Eastern European or Greek or Russian or anything, and I am none of those things. So
Right.
yeah.
You sort of stay in your lane, right?
Stay in your general highway, I guess, like, and switch lanes if you must.
I can see you playing Moana. Me playing Moana.
Yeah, well, I mean, and more so when I wasn't in Colorado and was actually getting like real sun year round. Like I was about 5 shades darker year round. I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, who is this güerita bitch? Like I don't know who it is. Like I was in Maui for a week and I was like, that's my skin.
I have 2 Filipino friends who both play Maui.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one to catch.
That's an island. It's an islander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one to cast too. It's a hard one to cast.
Pacific Islanders, they all originated in the Philippines, right? Like it was the Philippines that like branched out and became like. So I remember seeing an anthropology thing about that.
It's like the East Pacifica, right? It's like it's the Pacific Rim. I don't know if it's specifically that's the
Yeah, Rodney.
Voice of Rod.
I just remember watching a show on National Geographic that talked about like where did the Pacific Islanders come from, and like one of the things was like that the Philippines, they were such great seafarers, and they were able to like branch out, and actually go across like
Rodney says
Taiwan.
Rodney says Taiwan.
Ish. So yeah, so it's like Pacific Rim. So some of the islands out there, like Vanuatu, and I think Fiji Islands and stuff like that. But then down, Taiwanish, then down across.
Taiwanish, then down across.
Well, you didn't like Native Americans? They crossed the ice from Asia, right?
Anti-bridge Asians.
I think I'm pretty sure that's outdated. They've found remains since before the ice bridge. So
really?
Yeah, they started finding a couple of and signs of civilization that predate that. So, yeah, it's real interesting.
Speaking of ancient civilization.
Oh my gosh! As we go off on all these,
let's jump into this episode.
Learning so much.
So we have our kids who are from a planet out of time,
right? And open this episode on the planet of At-Aten with the parents of the kids, which I thought I wasn't expecting for there to be subplots for the parents. So this was kind of a lovely surprise.
A little something.
You know, little parent is who, because they all have the same initial. It's like Win and Woda. Fern and Farah, Neil, and what's Neil's mom's name? Noan or something.
Numa.
Numa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil and Numa.
That's how we keep track.
This is cool because it kind of deepens this the mystery of what is At-Aten, what is the great work, why are they hidden away, and like how did they completely avoid the whole galactic civil war and everything.
Oh, and Neil's father's name is Noel.
Oh, Noel. Okay.
Noel. And I really like his character design because Neil's just this little plushie of a thing. And you kind of get a preview of what he's going to be like when he grows up, and his dad's all like barrel chested, just like tusked. Like, all right, Yeah.
I'm a Viking, and we are like Han's daughter, Neil's son, and so I like that they use the first initial. Mm-hmm. Makes me think of Vikings. Space.
This is also the first time that we hear the safety droids talk about the supervisor, and they just kind of refer to this very amorphously about the supervisor, and the parents basically ask, well, you've got to help us because all of our kids are now like out in space. And if I guess what the decision from on high from the supervisor is, well, they broke the law by going past the barrier, and we can't communicate outside the barrier. And it was like, what?
Yeah.
The children are future. I think the supervisor is like the great and powerful Oz.
Yeah, and the inefficiency of bureaucracy, even Old Republic bureaucracy.
Let's see here. Okay, so now this is another fun game that we are introduced to, that where every episode, Jude Law gets another name. I think that begins. Well, no, does it? I guess we didn't really get a name. Did we get this name last episode?
Yeah, I think he introduced himself. I think he introduced himself as Jod, or either I don't know if he introduces himself at the end of the last episode. I don't know, Tracy, you've seen it the most recently, so you might remember if he introduces himself at the end of the last episode or the beginning of this one when they're escaping the facility.
Well, okay, so they drop Silvo right again, because we get one of the pirates saying Silvo escaped.
Silvo, yeah.
But then when he goes to meet Kim, they say calls him Crimson Jack.
Crimson Jack, yeah. Which I wonder if Jack is a Pirates of the Caribbean reference.
Actually, it's another deep cut from Star Wars comics. There was a Captain Jack character who wore like kind of a scantily clad jumpsuit.
It almost messed up the 3 original films.
Could we get Jude Law in the scantily?
With a big red beard and red floppy hair.
You know, I want to say, I mean, I saw a picture of this. It's been a while, but I mean, in my head it was like the Lion-O unitard with like a big, ab hole in the middle of it or something like that.
Yeah. They had to redo, I think it was Return of the Jedi, because in the comics where Crimson Jack is introduced, I think it's Han Solo saves Jabba from Crimson Jack, if I'm remembering correctly. And so his debt's wiped out. So then they had to kind of create this whole other thing in the extended universe about how he's still in debt because of like damage he did to Jabba's starship or something. And so he still technically owes Jabba money. Like, but Crimson Jack was almost like the thing that like screwed up the original 3 movies.
But that said, yes, Lexi, I also agree with you. Like, it feels very Jack Sparrow with the jail escape, and I mean, this is basically also how William Turner meets Jack Sparrow, right? They both and break. Okay, so we get some good action sequences here. This whole episode, a lot of good action sequences. Actually, as I recall, this was an episode that felt like mostly action beats. Which was a lot of fun, and also just like a lot of great kind of banter between the kids and Jude Law as they try and figure out, like, is he trustworthy? Is he not trustworthy? Why does he have so many names? And does he actually have the Force, or is he faking it? Like, there's a great moment where they kind of call it out, where like there's a lot of ways to fake the Force. We're in a universe that has force fields, that has magnets, that has like all these other things and levitation.
We've already seen in the Obi-Wan series a faux Jedi, so
right. I'm actually kind of hoping that they would call back a little more of that. I mean, I don't know. I was just really, who was that? Nanjiani?
Yeah,
is that a character?
I think it was Kumail Nanjiani. But then
I want to see more of that character and more of that idea, because I just love that.
He is, and like speaking of like I was saying before we started recording, with Jod, is I was like, well, I know a lot of times character names are in development, and I was wondering if they picked the character name before or after they cast Jude Law.
What should we name him? Jod Wood. Yeah.
Or somebody who was eating like a mouthful of popcorn or licorice or something. It was just like,
he just had a taffy. He was like, what's the actor's name? Jod Wood.
Pig, that'll do.
So they get to the ship, they get Smee back.
Yeah.
And then
That's right. The kids like really hold the line. Like, we need him. We need Smee to get the pilot the ship. And Jod reluctantly goes back, and that's when we get our scene with the lovely Alfred Molina, doing his best piratey Cockney.
And of course, there's like I don't know what cable it was, but there was something still attached to the ship when they tried to take
the fuel line.
Well, wait. Before we do that, also, I just want to call out a couple of really fun droid moments when he's like trying to find SM-33. There's like the battle droid he activates, and the droid wakes up and goes, "Did we win?" And then he falls, his head falls off. Yeah, that was all really fun.
Yeah, this show's good for droid humor, which is fun for the older fans and the younger ones. So I love that, and I love how chaotic their escape is.
I mean, it's very there's a lot of whimsy in this show, and I just found it delightful, honestly. Yeah, I would say actually this was probably the episode where I was fully on board. Just because as more chaos and silliness happen, and getting to contrast the kids with Jod a little bit.
Oh yeah, I was already into it, but I felt like I would agree with you that this is where they really truly found the footing.
Yeah,
where they truly found their footing and got to the we're not doing meat, got to the protein of it.
Yes. So okay, so as you guys going back to what you guys were calling out, so the big escape, they make it back to the ship. There's
wait before you go too far.
Okay, yeah.
There's some more Easter eggs in the ships.
Oh.
There's the original design for the Millennium Falcon is back there.
Oh, that's right.
And what looks like a Razor Crest is back there.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't catch that. It did see the
it looked to me like a Razor Crest.
Or Falcon.
Which is, of course, what the Mandalorian flies the first 2 seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys, when I named my internet, I named it the Millennial Falcon.
That's right. You are squarely a millennial, huh?
Yep. Yeah, 1990.
I'm that weird Oregon Trail generation that like everybody's like.
I grew up on Oregon Trail because I'm 90, so 1990. So I am almost elder millennial.
Well, wait. Okay, Tracy, would you be the exennial?
So I've been called the Oregon Trail generation, the Star Wars generation, exennial, elder millennial, which is my least favorite. And I have friends that tease me that I'm just a millennial, which honestly I would have no problem with. I don't find anything wrong with millennials. I think they're a fantastic generation, but I'm just a little too before that to feel like I'm really truly in that generation. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Even though I'm a 90s, so I am a solidly a millennial. I have boomer parents, so like that's why Sigourney Weaver was my awakening, because like they're showing me Ghostbusters and stuff that's like older. So I had that. I prefer to just call myself the Lord of the Rings generation.
See, I was in college when Lord of the Rings came out.
Yeah, so I like to call like I'm part of the Lord of the Rings generation.
I wrote papers on a typewriter. Like, we didn't have internet until I was like in high school.
I was a freshman in high school when Lexi was born.
Internet was middle school for me.
I remember Friendster.
Yeah, I had Friendster.
Yeah, nope. No, that one missed me, but we did not have internet in our classrooms until like end of middle school. So
but okay, so we see we also get the introduction of the Onyx Cinder.
Old guys.
Which is also very old, Onyx Cinder. And we get a little bit of comedy of Jod.
What generation is the Onyx Cinder? Yeah, see, you graduated high school the year I was born, Rodney. The year I was born. Yeah. Let's not even talk about my boyfriend. We're not going to go there.
Or mine, for that matter.
Yeah. I think my boyfriend's older than yours.
Oh, how old is he?
55.
Okay, he is a little older. Ian's like about to turn 50.
I love that. I always had a crush on Hugh Jackman. I wanted like a rugged older man who was also musical, and he's literally like almost the same age as Hugh Jackman within like a year, and plays guitar and ukulele. So
my niece is like 22, married to a 55-year-old. So,
and he
no judgment.
And he sounds like an American Tim Curry. So like, poof.
Records was sent it to us.
So, okay, so the escape.
You get to so they're escaping. They go to Kim, our cat owl, our little
Wait,
cat owl.
Do you still want to talk about how they escape? Because you were I cut you.
I mean, we discussed that it was chaos. We discussed that it was chaos, and we're running out of time. And like, there's the fuel line in our task for the fuel line, and the fuel line they break the fuel line. And
I love that. The going into hyperspace and then the fuel line snapping and basically just whiplashing the entire station. Also, like smashing all the ships into the other ships so that they couldn't.
And Brutus not moving, just giving zero fucks.
Yeah.
And like, damn it. Yeah. So they leave in chaos, and they leave behind chaos, and then they go to Kim, because we were talking about how he gets Crimson Jack from her.
Right.
And I love how the first thing she does is validate the girls' Fern and KB's misgivings, and she's like, "Kids, don't trust him. Don't trust him."
They had the ET walking across the like ET and Lord of the Rings had to be walking across the silhouette of the moon, right?
Or Fellowship, yeah.
That's why I said Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
The most important thing, though, before we run out of time, is that we learn about the jewels, right? The
jewels,
the 9 planets, the jewels of the Old Republic, and Aten is number 9. And is like the only one that still exists. That's the big important thing that we learn.
Right. The idea being that these are planets that were hidden away for certain infrastructure purposes.
And over the time they've become the galactic version of an urban legend.
Right.
So she gets them there. She gets them
or a suburban legend.
Suburban legend. Yeah. They are the suburban legend. So we have they get interrupted by the arrival of the New Republic, correct?
Well, it turns out Wynn calls in. Do we know for sure that they're New Republic? I mean, we just know that she calls in some X-Wings, but I guess we can presume
according to StarWars.com, it is the New Republic.
Okay. Cool.
That was the coin they picked up, was New Republic, when it was in the first episode.
Yeah,
right. Took over that ship. It was a New Republic coin.
New Republic coin. So that sets us in the era. I liked that because it was subtle to clear. Like very, very good show don't tell. Your classic,
Also interesting interaction with Kim where where the kids are talking about Coruscant and Alderaan, and Kim's like, "Oh, you clearly missed the Galactic Civil War."
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about Alderaan. Oh,
jeez, that's
funny.
Yeah.
You sweet summer child.
You didn't have any relatives there, did you?
But they've obviously been there for thousands of years at this point, right? If they're using,
it was like you guys didn't have any distant relatives there. I hope not. You're gonna be no family reunion for you.
Now, this is also a kind of cool moment when they're engaging with or escaping the X-Wings, and then Jod basically just starts assigning the kids positions, right? Because
very left starfighter
is busy working on, he's like fixing something, right? So that we get KB. No, it's Neil. Neil gets the ship, right?
Yeah, he tells Neil to fly the ship, and Wim's like, Neil? I want to do that.
They're the ones firing. Aren't Neil and Wynn the ones firing?
No, Neil's piloting.
So
KB is fixing something with SM-33.
Is it Fern and Wynn that are firing them?
It's Fern and Wynn who are in turrets.
Yeah, get to man the guns, but it's funny because he gives Neil the responsibility of steering the ship, and Neil does his cute little like Who, me? Okay, and then went into the thing where he's just like, sure. And he does step up, which I think is cute. Actually, like, besides just being the most adorable little dude and the actor in that suit doing such a great job and how, like, integrating all of the tech to put in that acting performance, like,
Wait,
massive off to that.
sorry, wait. Into which character? Oh, mixing me up.
Because Neil,
yeah.
we were talking about it in our we were talking about it with episode 1, where Neil is a combination of a mask and full character suit, because you'll see shots of him on set with his mask, and it's got like the little eye grid so that he can see out of the nose. But then they also did motion capture for his face to integrate it into the mask. And I mean, good on the kid and the tech team. Like, I keep saying the kid, and I feel really bad because I'm Robert Timothy Smith. Like, Robert Timothy Smith, you little legend,
Yeah.
But Neil, I think he's got one of my favorite, even though KB's my favorite kid, like, Neil has my favorite character arc, because he starts out this just anxiety-ridden little cinnamon roll, and he's still a cinnamon roll at the end, but this is the first time you get to see him step up, and he does the job.
He's the Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's our Sam. Like we mentioned that. He'll show up when you really need him. And if I remember, he does not mess up the ship. So so that's really cool. If they ever brought back these characters again, I would love to see more of that. Like, if Neil became a pilot, like, my heart, my soul.
Okay, so a couple other just things before we wrap this up too, just pointing out, this is also the episode where we see Neil form a little bond with SM33's rat, right? There was also a great little bit where they're all trying to figure out what to do, and they're talking to SM33, and then Jod comes in with whatever food he found in the mess hall of this ancient ship, which I'm like, okay, hopefully
Blue oatmeal or cream of brie or something.
But then the kids are like all hungry, and they're like,
That's it.
let's hear what other great little moments I want to point out. Oh yeah, we get more gatekeeper droids, like we saw at Jabba's palace, that are controlled by Kim. Also, her whole, I really love the art direction of her layer with, like, kind of all the do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of remember the Dark Crystal, and there's like the old witch character that has like the giant, like, gyroscope thing. It just it gave me that same kind of vibe.
I hope we see Kim some more.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will, but I hope we do.
Magra, I think. No.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're right. That good memory. I think you're right. Anyways, yeah, I thought that was kind of
when you type in Dark Crystal, and if you don't know her name and you start to type witch, it goes Dark Crystal Witch Lady is the first search. Agra, like an auger.
Okay.
Agra. Yeah. She's like a less senile Agra.
But any other impressions, things you guys want to call out with this episode?
Nope.
Just love the dynamic of Jude Law and the kids.
Yeah.
Love it.
And just the kids being a foil to him.
But they're winning him over. Like, he's starting to, like, he cares.
That, and also just kind of deepening some of the mystique around him, like the scene with Alfred Molina, where you hear a little bit more about what his relationship as a pirate has been, and he's I can bring in one major score, give me one more chance, and all that. Good stuff. No, this was fun. And with all the action beats, it's always great seeing X-Wings. And seeing the kids jumping into action. But
and the X-Wing pilot being like, where did they go? And Kim being like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Yeah. You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
So yeah, I think that is it for this episode. Thanks all for joining us on this. Come back next week. We will continue on with episode 4. Please follow the Geekish Network on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, and subscribe to the channel. We will be releasing new pods every Monday weekly. Also check all the other schedules for all the other great shows here throughout the week. Thanks in the flight deck to Rodney, and we are the Pod Squadron. Please check out all of our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For podcast subscriptions, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
I am the hot nerd girl on all the things.
The Feral Geek on Instagram and Facebook. I almost forgot the word Facebook, so that's telling you where my brain is at today.
It's meta.
But you're a millennial.
Right.
Yeah.
All the wings return to base, course laid in, and prepare to make the jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night.